at say he hasn't given up hope for an improvement in his life. Thought his luck would change. He bought a scratch-off ticket at a grocery store in Aspen and won $500,000.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Top 5 Central. Homeless people are a serious problem all over the world, with over 3 billion people in the world living on $2.50 a day. The chances of winning the lottery are almost impossible as it is, but some homeless people have managed to turn their luck around, so today we're looking at 5 homeless people who won the lottery. Now, if you want luck to win the lottery yourself, leave a like on the video and comment what would you do with the money you won. Be totally honest, would you be generous and helpful or buy a lot of cool things for yourself? Make sure to leave your answers in the comments, but anyways, let's get right into it. Number 5. Now, if you ask a group of people what they do with $50,000, I'm guessing they'd all have different answers, but some things would definitely come up more than once. I mean, pretty much everyone would like to move somewhere nicer, right? Well, it turns out not everyone. Like, this homeless man was living in a tent when he had won a small fortune on a scratch card, and he's decided not to go anywhere. That's right, he wants to keep on living in a tent, even though he definitely has the money to move. Not just that, but he might not even buy a new one, even though he's been living in the same one for over 20 years. As for what he's gonna do with the cash, he's decided to give $100 to every homeless person in the area, since he thinks they do the same for him. The rest of it's going on like dental work and a visit to see his son, which is kind of like a holiday if you think about it. Last of all, he said he was gonna put the rest in savings, so who knows, maybe he'll buy a new tent when he hits retirement.
The winner of the $50,000 ticket has been living in a tent for more than 2 decades. News 25's Joe Bennett has his story.
I scratched it off right here in my tent. I thought it was $1,000. She said, no. I said, oh, I messed up, didn't I? She goes, no, it's $50,000. And I almost fell over.
Dennis Mihurin has lived without a home since 1978. Even after purchasing a $50,000 scratch-off ticket from a nearby gas station last week, he says he will keep living that way.
Very, very nice guy. He's one of the sweetest people I've ever met, and I was telling everybody this couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
Dennis says he's become something of a local celebrity in the last few days. Most TV and radio news outlets have come out to speak to him, and he's not shy about what he'll do with his small fortune.
All the other homeless people around here, I've already made up my mind. I'm going to give them each $100.
Mihurin says he has 8 homeless friends to whom he will pay it forward. With all of this attention, he says that number may go up.
Now, all of them.
Funny how that happens, huh?
Yeah, they come crawling out of the woodwork.
After taxes, he will be left with about $35,000.
Number 4. Not every homeless person wants to stay that way, and for this guy, the money he won should have changed his life. I mean, he won $25,000 on a game he had never played before, which is enough money to keep a roof over his head for Christmas. I think we could all agree that's a pretty basic goal, but he actually came close to not achieving it, all because he didn't have a photo ID. Like, he had lost it just before becoming homeless, and obviously afterwards, he had never needed it. With that said, he couldn't pick up the money without proof of who he was. That's already pretty harsh, but it gets way worse, because to get a photo ID, you need a birth certificate. He didn't have one of those either, and to get one, you needed, you guessed it, a photo ID. It seemed like an impossible situation, but thankfully, a team got involved and figured out a way to track a copy of his birth certificate down. It took a super long time, and he still had to live in a tent while everything got sorted out, but thankfully, he got his Christmas wish.
It was private property. The owners told him to leave. He found another place to pitch his tent. In the summer, it seemed his luck had changed.
July, I won $25,000 on the lottery.
It was an $8 Keno ticket that apparently won big. We went back to double check.
Can you run that through your machine?
Sure. He was right.
Congratulations, you've won a major prize.
Then, an unfortunate twist.
I tried to cash the ticket, and Lotto BC will not cash my ticket because I do not have photo ID.
He can't get new photo identification without a birth certificate, and he can't get a new Quebec birth certificate without photo identification, leaving Boric out in the cold, literally. After 5 months of Boric trying to get ID, we got involved, and finally one of our calls landed in the right office. An NDP staffer who works for Victoria MLA Carol James knew how to get a Quebec birth certificate. She's done it before for other homeless people. Just fill out the right papers.
Okay, so that's all done. That's done.
Now it's just waiting. The birth certificate should arrive in 3 weeks, and then it's back to the lottery office. Merry Christmas.
Here's all the best.
The windfall, Boric says, will give him a new beginning, a real roof over his head, and the courage to reach out to his family.
Number 3. Winning the lottery is already pretty unusual, but winning $500,000 is downright life-changing. That's what happened to this homeless man living in Colorado, and everyone agreed it couldn't have happened to a better person. I mean, the guy had worked hard all of his life, but his business and relationship both collapsed, leaving him homeless by 60. Like, the man spent his nights sleeping on the floor of a church, but his friend said he never gave up hope that things would get better. So what did he decide to do with the money? Well, his first thought was to reconnect with his daughter, who he hasn't seen in over 20 years. In fact, he's so determined to make up for lost time that he said he'd fly out to see her, no matter where she was or how much the plane ticket cost. With that said, he did also have an idea for a treat, because he said he'd always wanted to go skiing. Here's hoping he did manage to find his daughter, because a skiing holiday is probably a great way for them to reconnect, don't you think?
60-year-old Michael Engfors had been homeless for more than 6 years, he tells us, in and out of treatment for alcoholism. And those who work at the homeless shelter that he's been staying at say he hasn't given up hope for an improvement in his life. Thought his luck would change. He bought a scratch-off ticket at a grocery store in Aspen and won $500,000.
It's just such a great story, and it's really inspired so many people, because out of all the people, especially in Aspen, Colorado, that could win $500,000, it couldn't happen to a better type of person than somebody that uses the Aspen homeless shelter. That's for sure.
Number 2. Winning any amount of money could be a lifesaver when you're homeless, but winning just over $2 million? Well, that's enough to change other people's lives too. Like, this Hungarian winner had been homeless for most of his life and had been sleeping in a converted Russian army base. Not just that, but his addiction to alcohol caused him to attempt suicide, as well as lose a foot when he woke up in a ditch with frostbite. Now, he did eventually find a house and a wife, but their income was so low that they were constantly panicking. When he won the $2.3 million, he decided they wouldn't have to panic anymore and immediately bought houses for them and their family to live in. Now, that's already pretty generous, but he didn't stop there, because he also made a huge donation to the homeless shelter that had kept him alive. As for the rest of the money, he says he wants to set up a charity to help other homeless, so that no one else has to live the life he did. Number 1. Okay, so this might be cheating a little bit, because the dude didn't actually win the lottery. But with that said, he was still given the money he needed to change his life, so we're gonna go ahead and count it anyway. Confused? Well, here's what happened. This YouTuber noticed a super kind homeless man who he thought deserved a second chance. However, he couldn't just give him the money because he knew he just refused to take it. So instead, he decided to fake a lottery ticket worth $1,000 and give him that instead. So at first, the guy was happy to accept it, but when he found out how much it was worth, he straight up tried to give some of his winnings away. In fact, it took a really long time to convince him to keep it, and when he finally did, he burst into tears. It's really sweet, because even though he was excited about the money, he was even more excited about making a friend who would do something that nice for him. Not just that, but because the YouTuber didn't reveal the trick, he was able to spend the money knowing he had earned it himself. But regardless, if you haven't already subbed to the guy who did it, do it now, because this is what a good person looks like.
I just want to see if we won.
Oh my God. Guess what? I got $1,000.
$1,000?
You won $1,000.
You're kidding me, right? You're kidding me, right?
I'm not kidding.
Come on, man. You kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. I want to share it, my friend.
Oh, come on. That's all yours, man.
Just share it, my man.
No, that's all yours, man.
This right here will be enough for me.
It's all good.
I would like to share it with you, big guy.
You earned it. You won the lottery, man. Here.
I've been doing this for a long time. A long time. I never, my friend, had somebody do what you just did, my friend.
And there's a video on the top 5 homeless people who won the lottery. If you enjoyed the video, please feel free to leave a like down below and subscribe to see whenever I upload a video. Also, if you have your own top 5 or top 10 idea, feel free to use our Extremely Handy form in the description to submit it. With that said, thank you all for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.